This is Served with me, Andy Roddick. Please hit subscribe. We drop new episodes every week. People aren't happy, Mike.
About what? Besides that?
Well, everyone's happy with that. Like, I think everyone's generally pretty happy with the state of tennis, but some of the players are pissed. Roland Garros.
Project Redeye.
What's
Is that what you're talking about?
I don't know.
Project Redeye.
I don't know what that is, so how do I know if that's what I'm talking about?
You were talking about the players' letter to Roland Garros?
Well, the letter's fine. I mean, did they write it after the bullshit?
It's Project Redeye.
Do they say it like that, or are you just...
That's apparently what Sean...
Like, what are you doing
That's
right now?
Project Redeye.
Yeah, that's what they're calling it.
That sounds like a way sicker way
Can
than
you
being
say
like Project Redeye.
Can you say it normally, or do you have to do it like that?
Yeah, normally you say it, Project Redeye.
Project Redeye.
That's the most normal way you can say it.
Yeah.
How many times have you guys been doing this in your meetings?
The news just broke this morning. It's just natural. Just how it naturally comes out, Project Redeye.
All right, I'm just to prove you guys wrong, I'm going to say it normally. Ready?
Yeah.
Project Redeye.
Oh my God.
You can't do it.
You can't do it.
Told you.
You can't do it.
So can you tell me what Project Redeye
is? So 20 top players sent a joint letter to Roland Garros expressing collective disappointment over the 2026 prize money. They include Sinner, Alcaraz, Djokovic, Sabalenka, Iga, Gauff. And for context, Roland Garros' prize pool is $72.3 million, which is up 9.5% from 2025. But the player share of the tournament revenue is declining, 15% projected in 2026, down from 15.5% in 2024.
Yep.
And then players wrote in this letter that they want a 22% revenue by 2030, which is what ATP and WTA 1000s events already have.
Okay, so there's context that we need to like tread carefully here with, okay? Again, it's tennis where athletes generally overpaid versus how hard most people's jobs are, okay? And if you were at your job and you did your job really well and revenue grew by 15%, or more?
Mm-hmm.
And they said, okay, great, thanks for your work. You can participate in half of the revenue generation.
Yeah, it was 9.5%, but still.
9.5%. All right, just so we're clear, the players are begging for a 22% share of revenue from slams, okay? The NBA went on strike on a 53-47% split.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can call tennis players greedy if you want, just because they make a lot of money and they're successful and we have a worldwide product that is fucking awesome. Great, that's your prerogative. If anyone who has more money than they need is greedy, then great. No problem, live there, to each their own. And also, when you are the driver of revenue success and you are not participating in that success on a year-to-year basis,
mm-hmm.
if it's not prorated based on growth, and the comps to other sports is like embarrassing. In no uncertain terms, it's embarrassing compared to other sports. So yes, they're rich and we play a game. And that's, the top players especially. That's not real life for someone 90 in the world. I'm just telling you. Like, that's traveling, paying, and you're not pulling down, athlete salaries, and you're not pulling down, you're not on the Forbes list like we see for a lot of tennis players,
mm-hmm.
right? Tennis is a K-shaped economy too. Like, it just is. So I understand if you just want to say you play a game, I love tennis, I'd love to play it for a living, you make a lot of money, shut up. Great. No problem. You're entitled to your thing. And also, I fully get where the players are coming from and agree with them. If they're growing the sport, I mean, at minimum, prize money has to grow on a prorated basis for that growth, at the bare minimum. And then if we get to the other things, asking for 22% when other sports are getting 47% and going on strike if they're not giving it, asking for less than half of what other sports are getting in a revenue share isn't greedy.
I mean, the WNBA just held out for like 17 months to get roughly 20%.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I think that's...
And I hate to tell you, like, the tennis tours are way more profitable and in a better place than the WNBA, who just got that number.
Yeah. One thing that Roland Garros did say that they were doing, that they were increasing the opportunity for money for the qualifying and then early main draw. And so essentially a lot of the percentage is front loaded, right? So I think it's something like a 13% increase for qualifying and 11 30-ish%, for early.
It'd be easier if
main
everyone
draws.
just got 22%. We wouldn't have to get so fucking cute about press releases, would we?
Math. It's hard.
Yeah.
600%.
I know you're asking for 22, but we gave you 13 in qualifying, which
increased it 600%.
Like $300,000
10%.
total, which is like 4 baguettes.
4 baguettes.
Yeah, this is ridiculous.
But all right, so we were talking about this, and I wanted to figure out, like, all right, if the examples we're saying of people, it's work stoppage, right? Work stoppage is what resolves these things. But what can they start doing that would affect the bottom line? And we were like batting it around in the meeting. It's like, do they just only say, when they're asked a question at press, do they say, well, you know what? It was really distracting to really play well when I was only thinking about,
no,
we only get 14%.
No, that is not what the players do. That is not.
Like, what can they start with without stopping playing?
So the other thing that's a little bit of a trap is the only people who make these things happen in tennis, because they have the most leverage, the most power, their participation matters more than everyone else. So when you hear Coco Gauff talking about it, it's not because she needs money, and it's not because she thinks she needs money, and it's not because she's greedy. She's like the most mature human I've ever seen at her age. I was a moron. She's like a fully formed adult, right? If she doesn't talk about it, the person who's 90 in the world doesn't get the benefit of it. When Novak talks about it, it's not because Novak needs more money. So if that's your narrative, don't be so lazy. If Novak talks about it, it gets press. Press builds pressure. People need to know what's happening. The top players, I suspect, I haven't talked to each one of them individually, I suspect it's not about their paycheck. They don't make the lion's share of their money in prize money anyways. They just don't. It's done in endorsements. It's done behind the wall. It's done to appear. It's done to go. It's not. I'd never once thought about like prize money in a tournament ever in my life. Just wasn't a priority. That stuff, I'm baking in my hard revenue before I even get to the tournament. They're the ones that have to advocate. The top players are the ones that have to advocate for someone who's 90 in the world who is still worried about the cost of expenses, right? And that's forget about going to 250 in the world, right? Where you're not making a living, like at any scale at all. And you're still one of the best. Like imagine if you went to the 200th doctor in the world, you'd be like, I'm in great hands. This is an absolute expert, right? It probably gets paid well. Not the case in tennis. So when you hear the top players doing it, it's not because they're doing it for their own pocketbooks, right? They're doing it because they have to advocate, one, for the future of tennis. If they don't step in now, they ain't getting to that number ever.
Well, and it's a fair share goal, right? Like they're not saying we want half or nothing else, right? It's fair share goal.
They're not insane.
But then it also has, beyond the prize money, it's welfare demands, right? It's they want them to commit to pensions, long-term health insurance, and maternity leave.
Have you heard that the Slam should contribute to healthcare before?
Maybe. Where have you heard that?
Like something?
Like
anything?
Like anything.
Bueller?
Just anybody.
Bueller? Project Redeye.
Project Redeye. Sick name.
Yeah, so you're going to see a lot of the things where the players are mad about money. Context matters. These aren't, I know a lot of these players, they're not selfish, terrible people. They're advocating for someone that's coming behind them. They're advocating for a 15-year-old that is going to be 150 and actually be able to make a living, hopefully, in 5 or 8 years.